For all the latest from the world of motoring, hit that subscribe button and stay connected.
The Yamaha R3 is one of the best all-round machines in the 300cc segment in India. It can handle a bit of everything while being a great daily use and touring machine. Today we are joined by Bharath, who has now owned the ABS version of the R3 for over a year, to share his ownership experience. Hi Bharath, good morning. Great to have you here, man, and long time since we met. So the R3, one of the classics. So how's your experience been with it?
Thanks, Avin. Good morning to you. This bike, I've been owning it for the last 1 year and 3 months, and I've had a very good experience till date. There's no regrets. Still, you paid a big price, but when you start riding the bike, I don't think you'll have that feel that you paid a lot. Considering the competition, I see that Yamaha has made some good justice by giving this bike to the market, and I'm truly enjoying it.
So this and the Ninja as well, Ninja 300. So what made you choose this one over that one?
Coming to technicalities, this has a diesel cylinder, and I've personally experienced that when you do a long ride for like 400 or 500 kilometers, on all the other bikes you'll have this sluggish feel as soon as the engine gets heated. But in this bike, even though you ride it inside the city for 1 hour, I don't see the power loss. And excluding that, I would say there's a lot of premium stuff in this bike. If you see anything there, even the smallest screw, and if you see the dash, it is all full premium, and the ride quality is excellent.
Okay.
So that made me think that I should go for this bike. And previously I was owning 3 Bajaj bikes.
Okay.
So I wanted something much premium, and I don't want it to have any compromise anywhere. So, and there's absolutely no vibration at any RPM. So I think this is the best package, and yeah, I don't think there's anything that they've left out untouched, Yamaha.
Okay. And let's talk about the engine now. So it produces actually a lot of power, more than the Ninja, in fact.
Right,
so how was your experience? Like, people compare it, especially price point, to the Dukes and everything. So how's this experience been?
Well, it has a very good mid-range, and as soon as you cross the 7,000 RPM mark, the character of the bike totally changes. So especially when you're on the ghats, just you need to make sure that you're above 5k RPM and less than 9k RPM, so that you can have the feel, and the handling is excellent. So as soon as you hit that RPM range, you can see that the bike will behave the way you want.
Okay.
And there's excellent grip, I must say.
From the time, okay. And let's stick to the engine for a little bit while.
Sure.
Look, how useful is the engine? Like, you told you're using it for daily use as well.
Yes.
So how does that feel? Does it overheat in any way, or do you feel any issues like that?
It doesn't overheat. You just have to make sure that you're on lower gears.
Okay.
I travel from Silkboard to Sarjapur and Electronic City at times, and there is this the total bar that you see on the dashboard is 5, but usually it is always 3.
So it remains cool.
Yeah, it remains cool, and you don't feel the heat anywhere.
And now out of the highway when you're touring, so what are your cruising speeds?
The best cruising speed would be around 125. So that is the sweet spot where you have this very good engine feel.
Okay.
And it is around 7.8 RPM to 7.5. So even though you have to reduce it some occasions, you don't have to gear down. Yeah.
Okay.
So
you can keep that 120.
Yeah, the twin cylinder really works well at that point of time. Yeah.
And out on highways touring, so what sort of tank range do you get?
Tank range, I push it. Usually what I do is full tank will run close to 330. Before that, you definitely need a brake. So I make sure I take a break and tank up. Yeah.
Okay. This is one of the best sounding bikes also, I believe, in the segment. So even at higher revs, even at low revs, in fact, it's got a lot of bass to the sound. So
Right.
How has your feedback been, from other riders, from different?
So this has an excellent sound. So that is the reason I have not changed any clip-ons or have thought of having a full system exhaust. The sound is very bassy and it is very addictive. So you just keep revving it,
revving it.
to have that sound at least.
And now let's come to the best part of Yamaha and the handling. So the first you have the ABS version,
Yes.
right? So the first generation R3s had some issues with recalls, the handling and some engine parts as well. So did you have any issues that way?
No, I don't have any issues as such. And this has ABS, so the bite is good.
Okay.
I won't say it is a pinch in the pocket because it is saving your life. So it makes justice to have a ABS at least for this machine, because as soon as you hit the highway, it just takes you. And Yamaha has been known for its rev happy engines. So it is actually much needed. And this brakes are also lasting more, because I was having an expectation of 12K. And
from the life.
Now it is run around 13,500. So still it has much life. So I think it will run for another 3 or 4K.
Okay. And sticking to handling, so how does the bike feel? Does it feel light? Do you feel it's got a fairing? Do you feel at any point is it bulky in the city or?
No. The riding posture, it is very upfront and it is suitable for touring. Even you do a range of 300 or 400. Initially, I used to ride an NS.
Okay.
So I used to feel dead if I do a 500-kilometer ride. I just want to hit the bed. But this bike, even you do a ride from Bangalore to Goa and still you are very fresh. So it says that you have very good riding posture, and the handling is very good. The first month I got this bike, I took it to Valparai, and Valparai is known for its curves. So I did Valparai, I did Koli Hills. So I would say 10 on 10 on handling, and it handles very well.
So it's basically got a nice relaxed riding position.
Yeah, relaxed position, and even you just tug in a little bit, you still have that balance. So the center of gravity is that it is not very tall or very short.
Okay. And I think one of the big aspects of this bike was also the ground clearance. So since you're tall, it's not going to matter. But a lot of people, I believe, were talking about how easy, accessible it is.
I have done quite a bit of off-roading.
Okay.
It is just that you have to judge it well and be smart enough to take it a bit cross so that it doesn't touch. But I've had a bulky guy sit behind me and it has never touched. The cowl doesn't touch if you hit any road.
You can now easily keep your feet planted and no issues with that.
No issues with that, absolutely.
Okay. And coming to seat height as well, no issues there. So I think it's one of the lowest seat heights.
Yes,
in this
and even the ground clearance is good. And if you see the foot peg, right, your knee is not touching anywhere.
Okay.
So you can tug into the tank when you're taking a tight corner.
Okay.
So Yamaha has thought about this too much and they built this bike. I would say there's a very good package for the price.
I think that the updated version is totally different. It's more sport oriented.
Yeah, sport oriented. It has a different dome, and we are all old school, so we are used to seeing the RPM needle and ride. So there it's all digital. So probably if I had that option, I would have not taken the bike. Probably I would have chose this model.
Okay, and coming to the braking, there were some initial talk about the R3 having a little bit, not as good brakes as it could have had. So how has your experience been?
We have all been seasoned riders and we've been riding non-ABS bike all our lives. So having ABS and trying to tap a bit, I've not had any close calls having this ABS.
Okay.
And even if you brake very last moment on the corners, it has a good bite. It is just that you have to be in the right gear so that once you shift down and then hold the brakes, it is holding very well.
Okay, no issues with
no issues with the brake.
Okay, and then can you talk about the build quality? Like how has the experience been?
As we discussed initially, there's absolutely no vibration.
Okay.
Even you rev it till 9k RPM on standstill, there is you don't see any, you don't hear any noise.
It's all clear.
It is all clear. It is just that this mudguard, it is not only on my bike. I've seen it on the previous version and in this version also. Only the rear part will vibrate a bit.
Okay.
But it is negligible. If you wear a good helmet, I don't think you'll hear that.
Never hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, any important thing about owning a bike is the service aspect. So, how has your experience been with the Yamaha service centers?
Yeah, I mean, it has been good so far, so good. I've had 3 services with Perfect Riders, and I mean, they have the inventory. I mean, I don't have to run out for parts.
Okay.
So, I mean, they do a good job. First service is at around 1,000 kilometers, and then it is 5,000. So, I've been sticking to Yamaha loop for the first 2 service, and now I'm using a Shell.
Okay.
So, I mean, the engine is good, and there's no change in the grunt or the beat. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward for service the next time, and I think I'll have the coolant change and all the periodical stuff done.
Okay. And one thing I forgot to ask about, especially since you go touring a lot, how's the suspensions on this machine?
I've not modified the suspension or changed any setting. I've just left it to stock, and probably if I'm into track rides, I would stiffen the suspension so that it doesn't have that corner exit shake and all these things. But yeah, it is very cushiony, I must say, and you don't feel the potholes.
So for touring, it's
touring it is very
really
good.
comfortable.
Yeah, it is. The present setup is for touring.
Okay. So have you done any changes on this bike to make it more touring friendly?
I was initially thinking of having a rack because if you have to have a saddlebag, I've not seen any saddlebag companies come up with an exclusive saddlebag for this bike. So I just have a tail bag, and I've added a small part so that I can tie my bungee cord on that, so that I can have a big tail bag.
So if you put the saddlebag, does it come inside? Does it touch the tires?
Well, I've not tried. I've heard people saying that it touches the exhaust and it burns the saddlebag, or it touches the tire. So you have to have a saddle stay. But I've not gone into that mode where I have to get something fabricated. So what I do is I just tie the bungee cord to this part that I've just fabricated.
Okay.
So it is just a very small part where I just tie the bungee cords.
Okay. And how about the headlights? A lot of people talk about the headlights as well.
Yeah. So the headlights are always on. Now there's a very small thing that I would say could have been done better, because now if you see, there is this right headlight which is always on.
Okay.
So that is probably people in the US who ride on the right side of the road. So in India, if the left side headlight is always on, probably your high beam, you will not need the high beam always to be on, because now it is pretty blinding when you are on a dark road. Just the right side headlight is on, and left side.
Yeah,
if you want to,
for India, they should have switched it.
Yeah, switch it on. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it would have made a difference. Yeah. Any changes you would like to make to the bike, or you would have liked to see on the bike to make it an overall complete package?
Presently, I have not had this wind blast or anything. Probably a bit bigger visor would have made some justice.
Okay, that's the only change of this bike.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, everything else has been taken care.
Yeah. Awesome. So, but thank you so much for sharing your experience about the R3. I'm sure it'll help a lot of people. In fact, a lot of people who are still in the market for picking up this version rather than the new one, because this seems more like a touring friendly option. Thank you so much. Man.
Thanks,
yes.
and we'll catch up soon.
Yes.
Thank you.